Hello again, I am Jim Bob, and welcome back to another episode of our Snowfall playlist. And as you can see, I have been busy doing a little bit of construction over here on our little industrial area that we were building. So we have our rail hub over here, which is kind of linking and servicing our little industrial sector over here. I've also done a little bit of expanding elsewhere as well. So some of you may have already seen I have tweaked my rail network ever so slightly, or my tram network. So this has been given a little bit of a facelift just to try and ease passenger flow around our little set here. So you can see we have all these bridges. We have two platforms here kind of linked like that, supported by both the bridge system and also our pavement there. And that's because this tram coming into shot here, just speed time up just a touch, as it gets across the junction. Waiting for the lights to change. Come on, there we go. This one will come in, and I've moved where this station's location is. So it was on this track before. This is now like the feed-in track. So it swings around here, and then this is where it actually kicks off just here. And this allows people to move from one platform very quick and easily to the other if they need to, or to access the bridge system to move on to one of our other platforms, or even to just leave as well. One of the biggest problems I had was a huge amount of pedestrian traffic on these bridges here, and I'm still getting quite a bit, but it's not as bad as it was. Thanks to having this footbridge system in just here. This kind of replaces the subway connection that we had before. What I've also done with the subways is I have linked some just a little bit here, as you can see, to kind of continue the sort of underground access that we had previously. It's just been tweaked a little bit, and some of these side roads have now got their own sort of access as well. This has helped reduce some of the sheer volume of foot traffic that we're having on this bridge here. And this is where this one comes out here, so you can see we've got nice good access here for these people, and then some of them can then walk down to that subway if they need to go over that way if they need to as well. So plenty of good sort of foot access over there. And I've also completely overhauled the other tram depot just over here as well. So I've put in a nice big bridge system. I've completely reworked the way that trams A come in and B go back out again. Completely flipped them around. So whereas our red and yellow trams were over here, they're now obviously just here, and then our other two sort of passenger trams over here now nicely linked this way to sort of feed in and then feed back out again. And of course we have this connection here, so all of our trams, when they come in and out of service, have got a nice easy access route straight back to the depot just there. Everything else is pretty much unchanged, so very little major tweaking done, just little bits here and there. And then the other thing I did was I actually added in a little bit more industry over here as well. So if we go to zoning, just so you can have a look, you can see I've actually added in a few bits of industry over here. And what I also did was provide alternate road access just here as well. So if I go into roads and go down, you can see what I've done. Not only do we have that route that then fed into our industrial network just here, which is now getting very busy, as you can see. What I've also done is I've also added another route that goes all the way underneath here and then comes up just here to feed into our secondary industrial zone just here as well. So this is for two reasons. One, obviously it's a good access route for any industry over here, but also it allows us to feed a supply of oil through imports to our boilers, which are around here somewhere. Where are our boilers? It's kind of hard to tell at night. The heating plants just here. I think the boilers are pretty close by. I think that's one just there. Nope. There it is. There's one of our boiler stations. These obviously require oil, and without the oil then they will just stop producing. So it's an easy way for us to import the oil we need and then take it pretty quickly to our two boiler stations over here. And then obviously the most recent change is this bit just here. I've made a head start on this, but it's not finished by a long shot. This is to create a new industrial zone over here. So I put in a couple of incinerator plants here I've also got a road maintenance depot just here. Then we've got a snowplow base just here, a heating station just there. Got our docks that you saw last time. They're both just there. 2 cargo hubs, because hopefully this is going to be quite a busy area. And then what I've done is, with the road network, obviously you saw us making this junction last time. We've got the roundabout that feeds in, only the one connection so far. We will expand out that way in the future as well. Then we've got traffic that feeds in like this. We've got a nuclear power plant that I actually unlocked while I was tweaking the tram network. And that now feeds this area and will, once this area starts to spawn in, also then connect up to our main grid just over there as well. But the road comes over here with this bridge, over the freeway, over the railway, down here to this roundabout, and then this is the feed into our dock area. So we go down here with a dual carriageway system like this, and then it splits, and this becomes one-way access down here. Can't change the road directions on these. These have to stay two-way, unfortunately, because they're actually attached to the docks themselves, so we can't do anything about that. But what I can do is make it a one-way entrance into this section so that the traffic can't come back up this way. And then here, going into the ground, we have a one-way little tunnel system there. And then at the other end, the same again. We have a little one-way road coming up here. The tunnel system then comes back underneath here, links up here, and then both of these routes will then lead back along the other side of our dual carriageway back to the roundabout, and can then either go into our new little industrial zone we're building just here, or can then obviously head back over the bridge back to the freeway. And then I've put in a couple of services that we're going to need as well. So I've put in a police station, a fire station, and a medic clinic as well. So it's time for us to kind of really start making sure that everything else is up and running. I have already put the piping in, so you can see there I've put the water piping in with the heating, connected it up to our boiler station, and then connected with an underwater pipe here to our main supply over there as well, just to help spread the load a little bit. And that way, if this gets a little bit too much, it can tap into this, but also, while this isn't too bad, this can also provide extra boost for this area here. So it kind of splits the load a little bit, and that's exactly what we'll be doing with our power as well. You can see that the connection's here in place, and it just isn't actually connected to the grid yet because there's nothing here to actually create a grid. So we're going to go in and start zoning this area right now. So let's plonk in a block of industry just there. Again, we're not going to go over the top with it. We're not going to go too crazy. But hopefully that will be enough to actually start spawning in enough sort of power around this area to maybe link up with this. We can always add in some power cables if we need to, or maybe even we can potentially just add in a little bit more zoning. I don't want to go over the top with zoning right now. The biggest problem we're going to have over here is a lack of public transport, so we are going to have to put in some kind of transport link over here. At the moment we don't have one, so there's only going to be cars coming to this area. No buses, no trains, no trams, no metro, none of that. You know, it's literally just, you know, going to be freeway traffic. This road here may also need to be upgraded to dual carriageway. We'll see how that goes, but for now I'm just going to leave it as single carriageway, because I think if I do it as dual carriageway, they're just going to stick in one lane anyway, so why put myself through that hassle if it's completely unnecessary. So you can see we're not quite connecting. We're going to need to zone in a little bit more. We've got something zoned there, but nothing has spawned yet. We may possibly need to add in a little bit more commercial. I have continued to upgrade some of these properties around here, as you can see, to high density. A little bit more has gone in. I've also restructured some of the zones that were residential and turned them into commercial, just to boost our commercial needs. And I think we might have to do some of that over here as well. So let's go ahead and drop in another commercial district. Let's see, where would be a good place to plonk it? I suppose just over here would be a good one. And this one as well. Make those 2 blocks commercial. I do really want to look at maybe getting a road bridge coming off over this way as well to feed into this area, so that we have a way for some traffic and our citizens to actually get into this zone just here. So let's go ahead and actually start looking at building that as well. It's a shame actually I've got these just here. What I can do actually now is I can take these out, and let's use this as our entry point. If I were to build the bridge sort of along to say there, and then if I go to freeform, I've gone a little bit too far, so let's take that back a little bit. And maybe make a connection just there like that onto the edge of our industrial. This is actually zoned one way as well, so the traffic comes in and then kind of splits off in all these different directions, and then, you know, that's the main entry point, and then we've also got, this is the exit point just here. And then we go, we actually have something built close enough now to actually bring that into this power grid. Now we just need to make sure it's connected this way as well. There you can see that little small connection there. Yeah, we definitely need to do something to connect these together. So let's just plonk in a temporary power connection just there like that. Link our supplies together beautifully. Okay, I think these need to be turned on now. Yes, they do. There we go. Get those turned on. That's made them very, very happy. And that should start upgrading these businesses. And so the biggest concern we're going to have is not being able to get people into this zone, which is why we have this here. But I am a little concerned about the sheer amount of heavy traffic that might come through here as a result of that. Kind of want everything to kind of use the freeway where possible. We'll see if that actually happens. I get the feeling we're probably going to get more traffic there than anywhere else. And we do have some traffic coming in. I'm just seeing, is there much coming out? Well, there is some coming out, look. That's good to see. So we are seeing a little bit of traffic exiting back out. There we go, and then joining the freeway itself there. So I suppose it depends how far they need to go. If they're going to, say, this area, then they probably won't. But if they're going further than that, then they'll probably use the freeway so they can then get onto this freeway collection or connection just here. It's getting quite busy there, you can see. The traffic is splitting, which is good. It's just a lot of it is going, taking that right-hand turn. Alright, let's take another look at our industrial sector. It's definitely improving. We do still have a worker shortage though, so maybe we're going to need to put in a small residential area somewhere around here just to provide some additional workers as well. See our road maintenance unit there. Have to go through the tunnel and then come back out just here. There it is. And then back up to the roundabout. And here comes our first cargo ship. Well, the first one that we spotted, anyway. bringing some supplies in, I think. Yes, bringing supplies in. So, are we going to see a wave of traffic exiting there? Not yet. It's still quite a small area. It still needs to develop a little bit more. I am actually also a little concerned that traffic that's going to come... Maybe if we make this a one-way... no, if we do that, then it's just going to clog up our network. I'm just worried about traffic that's coming in, going around, coming back out, looping back around, and then back in just to get to that road there. So maybe we might need to relocate that ever so slightly. What we could also do, actually, is put in a... Actually, that's going to need to be one way, because I don't want to mess up with that junction just here. But we can put in a road connection just there. We've got more traffic just appearing. That stuff that's been dropped off. And we've got more cargo ships coming in, look. Let's see if we see a whole flurry of little vehicles spitting out from one of these two ports. We may only actually need the one port as well. There we go. We've got a few vehicles getting spat out. The supplies are being delivered. Let's see if we can see where they're sort of heading to. Everything's coming in, and then, yeah, look, it's going straight over the bridge, which is what I was worried about. That's a nuisance. Maybe we're going to have to actually get rid of that connection. I was concerned about that. What we could do is we could maybe make it a tram-only route coming over here. Just have a tram that shuttles back and forth with workers into this area. Let's look at maybe doing that instead. So we do have a tram road here that we can use. Let's figure out exactly where this tram's going to go. So we're going to need to have a connection to an existing route so that we've got somewhere for our trams to leave the depot. So we need to put that piece in just there. It also creates a turning loop for our trams at this end as well. So let's go ahead and do that. And now I want to see if we can actually build a tram-only bridge. I haven't tried to do this yet. So let's find trams. Let's find tram-only track. There we go. Oh, and yes, we can. Well, of course we can, actually, thinking about it. What am I saying? We've done it over here with the connection there between the two freeways. So, of course we can. So let's make this tram-only so that we can shuttle workers back and forth with the tram. Like so. But instead of actually connecting just there, let's bring it around into this section just here and use this space here to create a little tram sort of drop-off point. So this is going to need a little bit of careful thinking. Of course, it would turn night as we're planning to do this. So let's see. I want a road to come down. Oh, it's wobbling, isn't it? Let's go straight. We'll change the direction on these pieces in a moment. Let's bring this down a bit more. to there. Oh, look at the height difference there. Yeah, I'm going to have to take that piece up. And then from there, I had hoped to put the stop on there, but that's not going to work. We're going to need to raise the height of this bridge. Try and get this to stay straight. Why is it... This should be straight. Why is it wobbling like that? A little bit frustrating. Take that piece out as well. Bring that to there like that. There we go. Now we can take this sort of along. Trying to curve. I don't understand why it keeps doing this. Just put in a straight piece like that. Let's go freeform on this so I can try and freeform the bridge around a little bit better. See, I don't think that's going to be enough. But we'll make that connection like that. Maybe I can then upgrade that like that. Let's bring this way instead. I hadn't planned on doing it this particular place, but we can do it like this. This will work. Put the stop there. And it's still coming in at a really weird height, look. Trying to terraform this back up to the right height, it's really proving to be quite awkward. This fog, sorry, this smog is not helping either. I'm going to have to de-zone this part because I just can't see what I'm doing. I'm going to de-zone that block as well. Speed time up. Try and hopefully clear some of that smog a little bit so I can at least see what the hell I'm trying to do. What I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to put the tram network in first before we then go ahead and do anything else. So if we have this coming down straight like this, and again I don't understand why it keeps changing what I'm trying to select. Select the square I want, please, come on. There we go. Alright. So let's go to there. Let's bring this down like so. And we want to take that to the same spot, which is there. There is a little bit of a height disparity. But we can kind of smooth it back out again like that. Right. Now let's try and connect that to the bridge. A smooth-ish kind of angle. That's not too bad. It's a little bit kinked just there, but it's better than it was. So now we need to change the direction. So that is needing to change, as is that. That's the right way round. That's the right way round. Then the trams will feed back out that way. Okay, that's starting to work. Now let's put in a footpath connection. And we'll run that all the way along here. Like so. A little bit patchy in places, but there's no way to really do much about that, unfortunately. Now let's create the route. Let's see if we can get a nice yellow colour. That's not too bad. A little bit dark. Oh, that'll do. That's good enough. So we want to bring that over to here. And we're going to stop that at the same stop as that tram just there. And that one. And then we're going to loop back around like that. So this is going to be a really short little shuttle run. So we should start to see those trams exiting the depot. There they are. All spilling out. Now this green line is actually our busiest of the two lines, so what we might need to do is actually add more trams to that line by adding a second route on exactly the same line. That's going to start causing some congestion problems if we do that, so I'd rather not do that if possible. But unfortunately it does take the trams a little while to actually get along where they need to go. You can see we're kind of stuck in traffic here. Maybe we're going to need to... I think we can probably get away with rerouting a little bit. Let's go ahead and drop in a slight route change. Just to try and ease some of that traffic flow. So if we take these stops here, for example, and we move that stop to, say, there instead. Same with that one, move that to there. There we go. And now I can get rid of these bits of tram road. So let's just change this to regular road, like so. It's still really, really busy here, so I think actually we might need to go to triple on this bit. And then that, by bringing the tram straight down this way, will help alleviate a little bit of the pressure at this turn just here, because that is quite a nasty little junction there, unfortunately. So the trams will run along this way. Kind of lost track. There's one of our industrial trams. So that's going to then run this way over the water. And that's going to start shuttling people back and forth into our industrial zone. It might take a little while for passengers to start recognising that as a route. And start using it. But it is there. I'm just concerned about how much congestion we're going to get on this section just here, because there's a lot of trams now feeding into this little loop. maybe instead what we could do is we could actually loop those trams around this way, like that instead. Keep them on a separate separate line. We'll kind of keep an eye on it and see what happens to our congestion around that little section there, and if it is too bad, then we can always rework where that loop goes. But now we've got a nice regular shuttle going back and forth into our industrial zone, because it's a short route. There's trams going through all the time, so we shouldn't really ever have queues of more than 1 or 2 people waiting. But the reason I dropped these stops where I did, if I go back into the stop system and we go to this stop here, what we should see, hopefully, is a mixture of yellow and green passengers going forward. And yeah, you can see the traffic here is just getting pretty bad, so I think we are going to have to reroute down here instead. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's create a separate loop. We'll keep this, obviously, connection because we need to. We need to have a way for the trams to get there in the first place. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and upgrade this piece of road here, like so. And then I'm going to have a little turning area in here. So let's bring this down here. And again, why is it not straight? That's better. Let's bring this down like this. Trying to think which way the trams are going to come in. Again, it's trying to curve, look. Despite me selecting straight track, it still wants to curve. Alright, let's just do it like this. Solve the issue by doing it this way. And why, again, stay straight. That's better. So I'm going to bring the trams in this way, around the back of the houses. Have a little turning loop just here. In fact, what we could also do is we could actually create that as a little station for the other end of the loop. That would probably work quite well. So now I need to upgrade, or downgrade in this case, from roads to tram only. Like so. There we go. Let's go into the route management system. Let's delete that stop and see if I can grab the other stop. There we go. And let's now route that in like that. There we go. And now we'll get some public footpath access for that. In fact, actually, no, we probably don't even need to do that. They can just run along the footpath along the side there. Yeah, we don't even need to worry about putting in a footpath there. So now we have a nice little shuttle, and what's better as well is having this here is that it's not too far to walk from that stop just there. And also we have the other residential route just here as well. So again, we're not walking too far to actually get to one of our other tram routes. You can see there we've got a very, very busy stop just there. Now we've actually got a little route here for them for quick and easy work access as well. So that's actually worked out quite nicely. And there you can see our trams whizzing over here. Need to keep this as road access. Obviously we need to keep access, I think, to our boiler stations and heating plants. But then the trams will come in, they'll come along this road just here. They'll feed in to this little turning area. And now we have a nice little commuter link between Douwe-Streepler and our new industrial area. So let's go back and rezone some more industry back into here. So we can fix this and this. Although actually might leave that for a placeable. Let's put some industry just there and some industry just there. And let's go to decorations. And let's put in a little plaza with picnic tables just there. I mean, it's not going to look fantastic, but what it should do, hopefully, is boost the happiness of all these buildings, which will then start leveling them up. Improve their productivity and workplace happiness as well. Might even place another one over here. Maybe just there, perhaps. Actually, no, let's put one here opposite the police. So we can turn it like that. There we go. And there we go. We're massively boosting the happiness of this area. So those buildings should now start to level up quite quickly. Because you can see we've got new stuff coming in. But these ones here, their happiness is much better. So they should start to level up a bit as well. Which means they'll make more money. Produce more goods. And there we go. Straight away you can see one just pinged just there. And another one. So that's definitely having the desired effect of dropping in those two plazas. Even if that one is a little bit precarious. Just on the edge there. You've got a chance of accidentally falling into the sea. Getting some nice steady freight traffic over here as well. Which is good to see. Not just in terms of importing but also exporting as well. You can see we've got trucks that are coming down to make deliveries. And this second dock, I don't think it's going to get used that much, but it is here kind of just in case things do get really busy. You know, it kind of gives us an extra little overspill facility because this area is going to get bigger. You know, it's we've still got all of this bit to zone here, got all down here. And then we've got all of this ground over here to work with as well. We're going to put a lumber industry in just here. At the moment, we just have standard industry goods over here. So, again, you can see those buildings starting to ping and level up and produce more money. All thanks to improving the general happiness by putting in those two decorative placeables there. So, starting to get a little bit of worker requirements. Let's have a look over here. Can we see people waiting? No. Slightly concerning. What I'm also going to do, I think, is I'm actually going to add a stop on here as well. Like so. These stops will be easy as well to see if we do get any people actually using them. A lot of people running back and forth, nobody seeming to want to actually use the tram stops just yet. Not seeing anyone getting on or off, which is a little bit of a worry. But again, it just makes it a little bit of a shorter, movement from there to there if they need to, and also from there to there as well, instead of coming all the way down here. So trying to kind of ease the load a little bit. Let's stop emptying this. There we go. Get our graveyard functioning again. And we're up to 33,500. Oh, we've got another graveyard over here that's full. Let's empty that one. Is this the one that we flipped around recently? I think it might be. Or was that one over here somewhere? I forget. It might have been that one. I get the feeling it might have been over here. I'm not sure. I get confused sometimes. No, that one's always been like that. So, yeah, that must have been the one that we flipped. You can see our city is really starting to take some really nice shape now. We've got a lot of low density stuff still that we can potentially upgrade in the future. We've got a lot of high density stuff coming in. This is obviously our office section. Here's our commercial section, which is now proving very, very good with that high density there. And then as we move across here, this is the next sort of wave of high density that's going to start getting upgraded bit by bit. That was the one that we flipped just there. It was this one, I remember now. So that we could put that right next to it. And you can see this high density has really, really come along very, very nicely. I suppose we could actually upgrade this strip along here, but I'll leave them as low for now. I want to try and get some more people into this area, because obviously this is our low education area. This is the area that's designed to try and provide workers for our industry. So let's zone up these sections just here, like so. So much potential for increasing the size of our population if we can get all of this upgraded up to high density. It's not going to happen like that, I know it's not, but it's, you know, definitely good to see that we have options in the future. Still have some worker issues. It's to be expected, unfortunately. What I might well do is perhaps put in a some kind of shuttle run somewhere else as well. We could do with a rail link. It's just not ideally located for a rail connection, unless we were to maybe try and squeeze a rail connection in somewhere over here. I'm thinking maybe if we could reorganize this stretch of railway, perhaps we could then maybe have a little side station coming in just here. That might work. I'll have to and ah and think about that one, I think. Let's have a look at our milestones, see what we're working towards. So we're working towards planes, and we need 48,000 people to unlock the airport. So not too far to go. We need another 15,000 people. See, 3 ships all using that one there. Why is no one using that one? Maybe it is because it's too close. Maybe we do need to just take that one out and be done with it. Could potentially open up the way to put in a rail freight terminal there instead. It says it's operating normally, but it doesn't actually say what it's doing. Same here. It doesn't give us any more sort of details as to how busy this one is compared to how busy this one is. Oh, I do think we did see a little bit of traffic going into that one a second ago. Pretty much everything right now is going... Oh, here's a potential. No, that's just a road maintenance truck. What about this guy? He's just a worker, perhaps. So, yeah, this dock doesn't seem to be doing anything at all. Maybe they're just too close. Maybe that's the problem. I mean, we didn't really get the chance to play around with ships with Jimsville at all. It was completely impossible because of the map had no outside water connection, so we never got the chance to really experiment with them on that one. So we're kind of having to do it all this time instead. A little disconcerting that, you know, maybe this one does need to get ripped up. But if we do rip it up, then we could potentially look at replacing it with one of these, which would mean a rail connection would be needed. So we could fit one in, kind of on the edge, just here. The only question then would be, how do we actually connect the railway from there? I wonder what would happen if I were to turn this one off. Would people start using the other one? Let's find out. Let's get that delivery in, get those vehicles spitting out. And let's turn that one off. And now let's see if people start to use the other. I don't think they're going to, you know. I think they're just going to keep piling into that one, and then we're just going to get a whole stockpile of stuff piling up. Even turning it off, look, you know, the traffic is still going in there, still making deliveries into there. That is weird. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, let's try something a little bit different. Let's see if it's being selected because it's just closer and a shorter route out. Let's make it a little bit less obvious. Let's tip things in the favour of the other. So let's get rid of this like that. And let's pause. And let's bring this down and freeform it a little bit. Now let's see what happens. So I'm going to unpause this one again. There we go, let's turn that back on. But will people start using this first terminal? Yes, they will. So now, are they only going to use the first terminal? I get the feeling the answer to that is probably going to be yes. I've turned it back on. Just waiting for the rest of the traffic to kind of catch up to that fact again. I need to clear these out. See, we are actually starting to get some workers dealt with over here. We've got one person waiting. 2 people waiting. So we are getting people using our tram network. Which is exactly why we built it. Again, the lighting does make it very hard to see, I've noticed, on snowfall maps. The sunsets can be really, really nice, but they can make it very difficult to see what's going on. When the lights go out and the sun starts to rise, you get some really nice scenic shots, but when it's snowing, it's almost impossible to see a damn thing like this. It just looks like someone's fired set off a fire extinguisher right in front of the TV. I can't see a thing. It's not helped by the smog from the industry either. That probably makes it harder than anything else. And so the second we move away from there, you can see it's much, much clearer. How are we looking down here now? Everyone's just using the first port. Oh, no. Nope. They're going to the other one. So are they both getting used now, or is it just the one still? Let's see which one the ship docks at. It's going to dock at the first one, isn't it? Just as before. But maybe we can actually start getting a second set of people coming in as well. It's a shame you can't set up shipping routes, so you can't have one for imports and one for exports. That was kind of what I was hoping would be the case, is that one would be used for imports and one would be used for exports, but it doesn't seem to be working like that. We don't have a lot of stuff to actually export at the moment by the look of it. Very little commercial traffic heading down here, or heavy traffic heading down here for export purposes. Most of the stuff seems to be doing what we initially wanted it to do, and that's hitting the freeway and then making its way out that way. We are again having some worker issues with this area over here. How's our high density coming on? Quite nicely. See, those buildings are going up and slowly but surely are increasing as well. We've got a big demand actually for residential. So let's go ahead, drop in some more high density and try and boost our numbers around this area. So I'm going to put in a little bit of office work, I think, potentially. No, we'll put residential in there. I'm just thinking about the noise. Oh, that's a hospital, though, not a university, so it should be good. Let's make that. And that can be residential. You know what? I'm going to make that resident. Oh, no. We had that as offices simply because of the issues with this, the eyesore factor. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that commercial instead. And then over here, let's... actually, no, I want to continue upgrading this area because this is what's feeding our industry with workers. Let's take this block and make that high density as well. There we go. And hopefully these changes here will actually bring in some extra people and keep supplying workers to this area. It's given us a bit to think about. But we're going to leave it just here, I think. That's it for another episode. So thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob, and I will catch you all again with another episode of our Snowfall City playlist very soon.